Hello, everybody. Are you ready? Oh, we got people anxiously awaiting. Yay. I have a very, very special guest for tonight, very close to my heart. She is uh, in my group, creating successful coaches. I've known her through Train the Trainer. She just got back from Breakthrough to Success with Jack, and we'll probably talk about that too. For everybody else that doesn't know her yet, I hope that you get to know her and you email her and you check out her course that's coming up starting next Monday. It is the incredible Molly Peebles. Welcome, Molly.
Thank you, Dave. Hey, everybody. I'm just so pleased to be here. This is pretty exciting. I've seen so many people interviewed on your show, and I am honored to be one of them now.
So and today, like, been an incredible day of downloading and uploading and all that good stuff. But hey, for the people, enough about me. For the people that don't know you, tell us where you're at and what you're all about.
Wow, that is a very broad question.
I know. Yeah, as a coach. We'll hit all the other things first.
Yeah.
After that.
So, as a coach, so I am a health and wellness coach, and I kind of specialize in habit change. That's kind of my thing that really razzes me. We generally know what we should be doing. We know that we need to, eat better, exercise more, calories in, calories out. We know these things, but because of the obesity rates in our country, because of the number of fitness, weight loss programs that are out there, we don't do it. So what is that about? And so it really comes down to, in my view, kind of habit change, and then all the things around why we hold on to the habits that don't serve us, and how we can shift to bring in habits that really uplift us and support the life that we want to live. So that's what really excites me.
Yeah.
So that is what I do, and I really help people to shift out of old patterns into health and wellness that is going to really help them for the decades to come.
Yeah.
So I coach, I teach, and train, and what else do I do? Motivate, inspire, and I come at this out of my own experience, right? We teach best kind of what we most need to learn and what we've experienced and how we've grown from our own life experience. So my journey started about 3 years ago. I got on the scales and realized that I weighed as much as I did when I was pregnant with my third child. And I gained a lot of weight, besides baby weight, that last pregnancy. And I did not have the excuse of carrying a child at that time. And so I realized it was kind of my wake-up call that I need to do something different. And so I got started going to the gym, started a walking program, got some energy. It's like, okay, this is working. And I lost about 20 pounds that year. And then it dawned on me that I was about to turn 48, which is 2 years away from 50. And it dawned on me that, wow, the clock is ticking. And I started looking around at my family members and how my mom has aged, and how my older sister has aged, and other friends and how they've aged. And I thought to myself, if I don't change my ways, then this is my future. And I had examples around me of what I did not want my future to be. And so I decided I really needed to get to work and change my habits and shift kind of what I was doing. And so I went to work. I joined Orange Theory Fitness. I was a workout queen. I changed my my food intake, what I ate. And what I found was that the more I exercised, the more I wanted to eat clean. because it just kind of fed on itself, and I just got more energized and energized. And so time went on, and I started feeling better and better. And then I found out about the Spartan obstacle course races. Somehow that, I don't know, in a past life, I was a Navy SEAL. I don't know what it was, but something resonated, and I thought, oh my gosh, I need a goal. I need a goal for training that will push me to the next level. And so I decided I'm going to go for it. So so that's what I did. So I did my first Spartan race. It was a 5-mile obstacle course, muddy race.
I was going to say, for those that don't know what the Spartan Race is, can you explain some of that?
Yeah, sure. So it's a trail run, and it's out in the woods, and they use elevation, a lot of elevation, and there are obstacles sprinkled throughout the course, and they're more military style obstacles. So things like going over 6-foot walls and crawling under barbed wire. You know, anything that you would think of what would be in basic training, that's on the course. Crazy, I know, but it's kind of fun. And I did it September of last year, 17. So September of 2017. And did it with my son. He supported Mom. And anyway, I'm in the middle of training for my 5th race, which comes up in September. So I've just found that, you know, in Jack Canfield's work, we talk about the BHAG, the big hairy goal. And that was it for me, of doing the Spartan race. And so this one is my longest one. It's a 15-miler. And so it's a challenge, but I just needed that bigger goal to get me to the gym, to be training, to be eating well, and I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm now 51 and just loving life and feeling good and strong. And so I really felt inspired to kind of take my success and help others to have a similar experience, not necessarily Spartan racing,
right?
That's not for everyone, only for the crazy-minded. But
not necessarily though either. I mean, putting those goals out there is a big one. I mean, mine came around when I had my heart valve replaced with a metal heart valve. And similar. I was like 47, I think, when that happened. And, you know, up until that point in time, I was always told, take it easy. You know, so I ate right. I did all that stuff, but it's like there was always things that I would like to do, but I was told not to, don't overexert yourself, because I had this bicuspid valve for my whole life. So from a little kid on, I was always told, you know, take it easy. Similar thing. Once I got that done, I was like, I wanted to run a 5K. I went and I did that, and I got into the best shape of my life. And then I kind of yo-yoed probably about 3 years ago or so, where I just kind of slacked off. I didn't really have those challenges. I didn't sign up for races and that. So it's like you don't, because I ran half marathons after that, and I did, you know, all of that stuff. And it's like I kind of then slacked off for a while. So I kind of yo-yoed back up and gained a little bit of weight and all that stuff. So similar thing, you know, but it's you have to have those challenges, I think, out there to really kind of something to look forward to and to drive you on.
Yeah. And when you sign up and pay money, then that's your accountability. Then you're committed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so that's kind of what inspired me to go in this direction with my coaching, to really focus on health and wellness, and specifically habit change.
And specifically women.
And specifically women.
Yeah.
Men may come in later, but my experience is from a woman's perspective.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the target that I've chosen to really work with the people who I know and who I can identify with the challenges that we women face, particularly as moms trying to balance all, juggle everything that we juggle as moms, and then try to incorporate self-care into that. You know, I have a real heart and passion and compassion for moms and what we've got to do.
And Lindsay says, way to go, Molly.
Thanks, Lindsay. Yeah. Thanks.
Amber says hello, and Lindsay said hello before that too. Hi, Dave and Molly. There you go. So take us through. Let's talk a little bit about, before we'll get into your course and all that stuff over time here. But so you just got back from Breakthrough to Success.
Yes. With
Jack Canfield. Tell us how your experience was there.
It was fabulous. It was just pretty awesome. I did the one-day training with Jack, and I've read his books and have been a student of his for years. But it was the first time for me to be in a room with him extended, and it was just lovely. And I think I come away really grounded and pretty excited, let go of a lot of limiting beliefs, and truly a big boost in self-esteem after 5 days with Jack. And yeah, it was just powerful. Just one day kind of led to the next, and just energetically transformative for the whole group, and to feel that transformation in a group of 400 was pretty awesome. Highly recommended.
Yeah,
I'll be going next year.
Already committed.
That's right.
Committed.
Yep.
And that a lot of that will, or some of that, or a lot, I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it will transfer over into your course also.
Absolutely.
And what so when you're starting out with your course, what can someone expect as far as in the beginning? Is it more setting goals? Is it breaking old habits? Is it realigning new habits? What can one expect in the beginning?
Sure. So in the beginning, what we do is there are kind of two kinds of motivation. There's the away from motivation and the toward motivation. So the away from motivation are the things we want to get away from, the pounds we want to lose, we went to the doctor and the blood test came back and we got to lower the cholesterol, you know, kind of the things that we want to change, that we want to move away from. And those are really great, and they can be inspiring and motivating. But the thing that's inspiring is are the toward motivations. So those are the ones of, gosh, if I had optimal health, if my health was the way I would like it to be, gosh, what would I be doing? How would I be feeling? What kind of energy would I have? Gosh, if I lost the weight, if I went to the gym, if I had the energy, gosh, then I would do that thing on my bucket list that right now I don't have the stamina to go do. I would play with my kids more. I would do this with my grandkids. It's that thing, it's that bigger vision of, and that is what gets you out of bed at 6 a.m. to go on that morning walk. It's what, when you go to work and they've got the plate of cookies in the break room and you say, you know, I have a vision of what's possible for me, and that is more important than that instant gratification cookie. So we spend some time figuring out painting that picture of what that toward motivation is. What is that that vision that makes us go and feel really at peace and excited about. So once that is kind of formed, then we take some time to set some goals. And then we pick 1 or 2 that we want to focus on in the 6 weeks. So the course is 6 weeks long. We can't do everything, but we're going to start. And we go through some processes to figure out what the starting place is going to be. And the other piece that we do across the 6 weeks, I learned this from Rod Hairston, who's a trainer, and he talks about the cycle of growth. And the way the cycle of growth is, the first step is inception. You have this idea, oh my gosh, I'm going to do Molly's course. This is going to be great. And going to, change all these habits. It's going to be awesome. And then you start into the process of changing that habit. And then you bump into what's called deception. And deception is the place where the subconscious mind is wired to keep us safe and to resist change. So it's the point that we get to where that is triggered in us and, oh, this is going to be hard. It's too hard. I'm going to quit. So we reach that stage. That's the stage we usually reach about January 3rd after making our New Year's resolutions. So we go through some steps of understanding what deception is, understanding the conscious and unconscious minds and how they work. And once we the jig is up and we know how that subconscious mind works to sabotage us from making the changes that we want to, then we can get ahead of the game. And then we can start reprogramming that subconscious mind so that we can bring it on board to support us instead of resist what we're doing. So that's generally kind of the largest piece of that 6-week process is working through that deception phase. But if we can stick it out and push through that, then we get into what's called the transformation stage. And that's when we're taking the steps. We've got to think about it. It's not easy, but we know what we need to do, and we're seeing the momentum. We're feeling the momentum, and so we're starting to get into a new rhythm. And then finally, we reach identity, and that's when that new habit is just a part of what we do. It's just what I do. I get up at 6 in the morning and I do my 2-mile walk. It's just what I do. I brush my teeth at night, brush my teeth in the morning, have breakfast. It's just what I do. It's who I am. So that is kind of the flow, the stages that we walk through in those 6 weeks. So at the end of the 6 weeks, you're solidly in that place of identity with at least one of the habits that you want to change.
Yeah.
And then you have the tools. Now you know the system, and now you can apply it to really anything in your life.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, that's very, very true, because it's just habit. And everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but when I talk to people about weight, and that a lot of people will say, first thing, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. Or I want to lose X number, insert whatever number or kilograms or wherever, that you want to put in there, that they want to lose that. And I'm like, well, you can easily lose that, but now you got to really define what you want to look like, your image and that, because otherwise, if you put out into the universe, I want to lose, let's put up a big number. I want to lose 100 pounds.
Right.
The universe may come back and go and give you some disease that now you'll end in the hospital and you lose 100 pounds.
Right.
So
you your goal.
Yeah, you hit your goal, you put out into the universe that you want your higher power, whatever you want, that you want to lose X amount of pounds or something, and then they came back and gave it to you. So get to find that vision is the biggest part, I think, to all of it, is what do you want? What do you want to feel like? What do you want to be like? What do you want to look like? Because then it's just a matter of coming up with ways and habits to replace your old habits, instead of going to the cookie jar or to, mine was always sugar, still is. You put if Ember makes a pan of cookies or something, the chances of them being gone within the hour is pretty darn good. Pretty darn good, because we're both weak on the sugar thing. So it's like, and I think most people are. So it's like, if you can replace those with good habits, and that, okay, we're not going to make the cookies. Now we're going to make, something else that's going to be delicious, but it's not going to be, sugar laden.
Right. Or you make
Yeah. Yeah. So you're replacing, you're putting good habits in place, and it takes time.
Right.
Because like you said, you get the deception, the doubts, you get that voice in the back of your head. Oh, just one cookie will be okay.
Right. The excuses of,
Yeah.
the exception. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we do in the course is we utilize affirmations and visualization. So if every day you have a moment where you're visualizing what optimal health will feel like, oh gosh, well, then I want to go through my day trying to recreate that in my life. And so so we use that, and it's a really powerful tool to help just really harness those feelings, those emotions, and it's inspiring.
Yeah.
To the program. Yeah.
And I'm glad you said emotions, because that's a good part of it, right? How as we mature, I'm 54, mature. As I get older in life, it's like you have some baggage that you hope that you get rid of and things like that, but there's hormones that come into play. There's different things of that sort that come into play. So do you address those within your course, as far as breaking those habits?
Yeah, so the types of I guess outcomes that typically the people who I work with are focused on are really outcomes that will enhance their lives and how it improves the quality of their life and will improve what they're able to do and experience with their loved ones.
Yeah.
So if your passion of passions is to fit into a bikini and have a size 2 body or 0, nothing wrong with that, but that's typically not who I work with. Typically, it's people who are really wanting a higher quality of life and to age gracefully. And be able to be active adults for decades to come. So that, so I was at the gym the other day, and I had my headphones on, and this woman next to me tapped me on the shoulder, and I was a little irritated. It's like, do you see? I'm listening to my headphones.
I'm in a zone.
Okay. And so she needed to tell me about how firm her arms were, that she was holding the bar at the top of the treadmill, and this seemed to really firm up her arms. And okay, great, yes, you have firm arms. And as we talked, she ended up saying, here's this woman, gray haired, I thought, maybe 65, 80. This woman's 80. And she's huffing it on the treadmill, and she's talking about her, she made me feel her forearms. Look how strong I am. Yes, you are strong. And we ended up in this long conversation. She was just delightful. And I thought, okay, that's how I want to be when I'm 80. I want to be that active and clear of mind, on the treadmill, getting ready to go take some vacation, walking across France. Yeah, I want to be doing that at 80. So those are the kinds of things that the people I work with, that's kind of part of the vision that they're creating, is being able to be active and really enjoy a really high quality of life into the later decades of their life.
Yeah. And we're going to be kept alive. I always like terming it that way. We're going to be kept alive.
Right.
Probably in your and I lifetime, at 100, definitely 100, probably 110.
Yeah.
Maybe even beyond that, just because of medicines and all that stuff that they've taken a lot of different diseases out of the play that used to be there and that. But even just medicine alone is going to keep you alive. Now, whether anyone can
Yes.
sing, dance, enjoy being 100 or 110. That's up to what we do right now at 50,
Exactly.
51, 54, whatever you're at.
Right.
And those habits that you put into place.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Whether it's eating, working out, all that good stuff.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, of course, like yours is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it changes the quality of your life, you know, changes what you can do, who you can be, and it expands your capacity of, you know, what you're capable of.
Yeah.
You know, I just spent a week with Jack, and by the end of the week, you know, kind of blew away. I thought that I had some big ideas of what I could do, and by the end, it's like that was nothing. It's this, and so, you know, same with kind of changing habits and focusing on health. That, you know, maybe I thought, you know, this is what I could do given my health. But gosh, spend a little time focusing on changing some habits and doing a little bit over time. The changes, the long-term changes, you know, can be pretty phenomenal. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm about.
Yeah. And thinking long term. I'm glad that you're doing it that way too, because it's, you know, it can start out as simple as I want to be able to get up a flight of steps.
Right. Right.
You know, you just don't do it for so long, and it can be as simple as that, or just playing with the grandkids.
Right.
You know, I can only sit in a chair and watch them play. You know, it's like I can't get out there and play with them. Well, you know, and you realize you're missing some things in life that way. So definitely it helps with quality of life.
Right. And I think that's really what drives me. It's about lifestyle change over the long haul. So there are plenty of programs out there to fit into your bikini by summer, fit into your wedding dress, which great, wonderful.
Buy this wonderful food that comes to you in a cardboard box,
right?
And you can reheat it up. It's pretty much like army rations,
right? And so really, and those kind of programs, it's so easy to yo-yo, and most people do.
Yeah.
But this program is really about lifestyle change, creating a new way of living, really. New mindset, higher self-esteem, all of that, to really raise your game.
Yeah. And I think those other ones, you yo-yo on those other diets and things, because it's all about, as you said before, it's all about running away from what you don't want.
Right.
So you have a class reunion this year or something, you know, so you're like, oh, I got to look good for this. So I'm going to just go to the other extreme for a while, and I'm going to eat this stuff out of a box 4 times a day. And yeah, it's going to do it. It will do it because you're going to be limiting your calories. It's going to look at it from that aspect. And some of it's nutritional. We'll go on that's a whole separate show, right? But yeah, but it's like you're running away from what you don't want. You're not getting a vision built around what you do want to happen and then making that happen. Because once you said it, once you feel it,
right,
it's hard to like go and have that donut at work or have those cookies or make this, because once you feel it, it's like, oh man, I'm feeling so good today. I can stay up late. It doesn't kill me. It doesn't, I'm not taking naps at every 3 hours and all that good stuff. So yeah, I think building that vision of what you're going towards is a crucial part that you have in your program.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's exciting and it's invigorating and it inspires the people around you. So, then the people who you love are inspired by your example. I found that. My mother, after seeing all that I'm doing, she ended up joining Weight Watchers and she lost 25 pounds. And that was before I was doing my class. She might pop in on the class. Yeah, phenomenal. She's 78. So, you know, it's never too late. Never too
It's
late.
never. Especially, I mean, seriously, like I said before, especially now, my dad's 89,
Mhm.
you know, and as I always say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Right.
Someone said that down the road. I don't know who, but I'll quote them. Um, and he's one where it's like now he's getting a little bit more proactive in that
Mhm.
because he kind of got more sedentary over
Right.
probably the last 10 years than he
Right.
ever was. And now he's kind of feeling aches and pains and things like that. Now he wants to get back on track because it's like, I think he kept thinking, well, maybe this next year's the last year or something like that. And now he's like 89. He's like, you know, 100's not that far off. So maybe I got to start doing
Right.
something now,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's never too late. It's never too
Right.
late. Yeah. Mom at 78, why not?
Exactly. Exactly. And, you know, movement really is life. And so just to keep the joints lubricated, to be able to let go of that stiffness so that it can move. I mean,
Yeah.
just gotta move.
I love when they go to the doctor, like with him too. He's like, "Oh, my back hurts," and I'm like, all of us that are with him at his house goes, "It's because you have poor posture." And we're sitting there going, "You sit in the chair, you slump in the chair, you don't like, you know," and he slumps in the chair for 8 hours a day. And it's funny because then his doctor will be like, "Oh, you have arthritis." I'm like, "Do you understand what arthritis is, Dad? It's just swelling of the joint." So it's like everyone has arthritis. That's just a generic term, you know, that they use, and it just makes people over 65 years old go, "Oh yeah, that's just how it is with life. I have arthritis," you know. And it's like you just gotta get active. Just get out there and do some stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you promote in your course?
That I promote.
Activity and types of activity
Oh,
or types
sure.
of
Well, you know, it kind of depends on, it's individualized.
mm-hmm.
Everybody's kind of at a different place. So, you know, everybody starts where they're at, and we kind of talk about what would be the next step. You know, for some people, it's just starting to walk. You know, maybe get a Fitbit and, you know, or an app that will track mileage. And so, you know, you spend a day and just do your normal walking. Maybe in a normal day, somebody walks a mile and a half just
Mm-hmm.
to and from the office and all that. So what would be the goal that this person would like to step up to? So maybe it's working up to getting that 10,000 steps a day. And
Right.
so working in increments. So, you know, we'll talk about different ways to kind of strike that balance with kind of pushing the envelope, but also not, we don't want anybody injured. We don't want anybody
Right.
to overdo it, but we do want to kind of push the edge, get a little bit out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a little bit different for everybody.
It
And I'll
is.
help everybody kind of find what that is.
Yeah.
Others, you know, maybe they're super active and are running, but need some extra help on nutrition. So then we, you know, talk about that. And like with nutrition, again, it's kind of this principle, instead of taking away, I want to put in. So I would be encouraging people to focus on adding healthy things. So most of us don't eat enough vegetables. So where can I add more vegetables? Instead of eliminate the sweets, eliminate the chips, and eliminate this. And then it's like, well, that's no fun.
Yeah.
So if I start to eat more vegetables and more salads, and wow, this actually tastes really good, and I'm kind of enjoying this, then those other things just they're gonna lose their appeal and will naturally fall away to some degree. And if I'm active, then again, eating that stuff, you know, gosh, I don't want to just undo the 5-mile walk that I just did. So I'm going to eat better. I'm not going to eat that cookie or whatever it might be. So yeah, we talk about all those things. One of the exercises we do in the beginning, I have what's called a health and wellness wheel, and so it's a circle that has 8 pie pieces, and each one is labeled a different aspect of health and wellness. So maybe one is exercise, cardio, strength training, being outside, meditating, water intake. So it's 8 different things. And then you get to color in kind of from 1 to 10 where you are, how much of that pie piece you're doing with that particular aspect of health and wellness. And so after seeing all of those, kind of here's the visual of how I'm doing in my life in terms of my health and wellness. Then I get to decide, water intake, I'm not drinking enough. Sleep, I'm only getting 6 hours of sleep a night. And that's an area that I'd like to focus on. So we kind of go through those 8 areas. And once we kind of pick the 1 or 2 that have some deficit that a person wants to work on, then we fine tune what some goal options might be with that, and how to build increments to reach that goal.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Nice. Yeah. No, I think that's great. Because a lot of times we get into the mindset. I had to choose my words well there. We get into the mindset that we get focused on, like mine was running. Mm-hmm. But as I talked to other runners, they were doing yoga. They were doing, I don't want to say body sculpting. They were doing weight work. How's that? So it wasn't like they were bulking out, but they were doing weight work and things like that, and core work. And I was like, you'd think that like with running, it's all about the legs or something, but it's not. It's about your core, your posture, all those things come into play as far as increasing your times or getting, and we only want to increase our times because we want to get done.
Right.
If I can run 7 miles in an hour, I'd much rather do that than an hour and a half.
Right.
So yeah. So it's like different things of that come into play. And a lot of times, like on that wheel, that's a great eye opener because they might be doing, aerobic running, something of that sort, but they might not be doing any weights or anything like that, or any body. I don't want to say bodybuilding. What's a good term for that? Strength training. There you go. Yeah, strength training.
Doing weight-bearing exercise is really important for strong bones. So
for the joints.
Yeah. So if you're out there swimming, swimming is great, but it's not a weight-bearing activity. So it's cardiovascular, great, but it's not going to do anything to really help to strengthen the bones. It is good for the joints. That movement is good, but it's not going to impact the bones and help strengthen the bones. Yeah. So, but doing little weights, hand weights, are going to make a difference. Taking those ankle weights that you can strap on, and doing some exercises, even sitting in a chair against the wall, you can do some things. So there are lots of different options.
Yeah. I highly suggest you don't let the grandkids grab you around the calves and try to run that way or walk that way. Yeah. That's just not a safe thing to do.
We know this from experience.
We know this from experience. Where they try to grab on you, you're like, no, I'm going to fall.
Resistance training,
Yeah, it does strengthen those up pretty quick, though. But yeah, it's amazing how just some strength training really, just think of your joints themselves. The frustration I have with the medical profession, not all, is I'll preempt this statement with professionals. There's always some great professionals. There's some not so good professionals, and then there's ones in between. And so some of the not so great ones right away want to do surgery. It's like, oh, you come in and you have some pains in your shoulders or something, and right away, oh, yeah, let's start going digging in there. Let's start. Oh, we probably can scrape. We can probably do some, or even with carpal tunnel and things like that. And a lot of that is really preventable by doing what you're talking about, as far as strength training, as far as getting active and things like that. Joints, hip joints, knee joints, things like that. But you don't want to abuse them. But to get active now is a really important factor for later in life. Right.
And even if a surgical fix is what ultimately is needed, you want to do all you can beforehand to avoid it. And if you are in shape, you've been exercising, you've been eating well, you've been improving your health, then you're going to heal so much faster if indeed it turns out that surgery or whatever actually is needed. You'll heal so much faster. You'll recover and be be so much better.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal when you get to a situation of that where it's like you start feeling good, you start being good, and then you want to jump into Spartan challenges and Spartan races and things like that. And then you get everyone's on board supporting you. Did you have anyone that was naysayers in the beginning? Like, oh, don't do that. Oh, you'll hurt yourself. Oh,
yeah, I had.
Because they like to sit in their chair and watch TV. And
they were like, really? You want to do what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Molly doing her crazy thing again. So my son went with me. I don't know if it was to, help make sure that I survived the 5 miles and the 20 some obstacles. But yes, I had family members who thought I was a little nuts.
And then I did it. Team Spartan, or did you do individual?
It's pretty much an individual race. You can do teams. So like if you had a women's group or, your office wanted to get a group together, you can register as a team and then you all get to start in the same heat. So that's the advantage of a team. There are some obstacle course races where the obstacles themselves are designed to require a team. To get through them. But the Spartan is not that. You can do it as an individually or you can go through the course together.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you did it individual though.
I did. Well, it was Team Peebles. David and I. David.
The two of you. Okay.
We would start at the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
At the same time. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. So, and the interesting thing was that my daughter also has done it with me too, my youngest daughter. And I never, in my wildest dreams, would have imagined that I would be bonding with my adult children through obstacle course racing. Never. I was never particularly athletic. Did some biking in high school, but that was about the extent of it. So to be, bonding with my adult children over this kind of obstacle course racing, never would have thought. But it's been wonderful and really grown our relationship. And my son went and did, he lives in Salt Lake City, and he did a Spartan race in Salt Lake on his own this summer. And it's kind of enlivened his passion for, or I guess he's discovered a passion for this Spartan racing that he didn't know he had, but he found out about it because of his 50-some-year-old mother. Which is pretty cool.
That is very cool because and anyone that's over 50, well, it doesn't matter what age you're at actually, but you lead by example. And if we inspire someone, I've had many people come up to me and go, "Did you know?" That knew my story and that would come up and go, or they'd email and things like that. Hey, I'm going to do a race. Would you walk me through some of this, how to train for this? Or would you walk me through, is there some, they'd ask questions and different things because they heard of my not doing anything until 47 other than eating right and some, not challenging myself. And then going from there to running, half marathons and all of that. So they were like, I've inspired people that I didn't even know I was going to, I didn't set out to inspire anyone. I just set out to inspire myself, I guess, in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, you're going to be whoever is in your course is going to be inspiring their family, their friends. And I asked before if someone was naysaying you, because my dad still will be like, oh, you're running out in this heat, oh, you better sit down. You better just stay in the house. Because because he's gotten more sedentary now. And so he wants, people want you to be a part of their journey. Right. And a lot of times you have to just kind of let those people, oh, that's great. But as soon as you start doing it, he'll be the first one to say, hey, are you running a race this year? Because he'll want to be there to watch me finish, run across the finish line. But it's amazing how you're still inspiring people, but, they may start out as naysayers, but you're really going to inspire them along the way. Right.
Well, I think there's also naysaying because it takes people out of their comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
If, my family knew me to be one way, and so that's what they were comfortable with. And so if I start shifting and changing, then there's a part of them is like, wait, what? Molly's shifting and changing? And then what does that mean for them? Well, I'm not asking them to shift or change. Their choice to do that. But
But they look in the mirror too.
Right. And, families are systems. And so when one person shifts, then it's a call for everybody to shift, and not everybody's ready to shift.
Right. And so they got you a little self-reflective there and kind of like, ooh,
right.
Now if I could just talk him out of doing that,
right,
then I won't feel so bad about myself, or just so self-reflective, not necessarily bad, but self-reflective about themselves and that too.
And I don't have to feel so bad sitting here on the couch if you're sitting here with me. Right.
Right. Yeah. Would you like some more chips? Yeah. It's
fun to eat chips alone. Yeah. Right.
No, do you have any carrots? It was funny because, like, with my dad, I started kind of doing things like, oh no, but do you have any cashews, or do you have any nuts, or I try to kind of steer him. Then pretty soon the next time I was over, he'd have a thing of cashews there. He'd have a thing of nuts. So instead of the chocolate covered caramel peanut candies that are surrounding his chair, he'd have like some cashews there and some nuts and things like that. And so out of habit, he would eat those instead, which I'm like, well, it's in the right direction.
Right. Exactly.
Step
by step, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we keep them around a little bit longer so we can love them a little bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah. So your course starts on Monday.
It does. It does. It starts at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and the session is recorded, and so I have a dashboard to my website, so people who sign up for the course have access to that. Mm-hmm. And so you can watch the replay. If you can't make it live, then it's in that dashboard. And we're also going to do a private Facebook group so that the group can interact during the week, and we can set our goals, we can support each other, give high fives, and I'll be on doing Facebook Lives in that group, giving, suggestions, motivations, and we can interact. So if anybody needs some individual coaching, we can do that through that Facebook group. So it'll be really interactive and fully supportive. So it's 6 weeks of not only, the coursework, but it's support. It's 6 weeks of support to really help everybody get to where they want to go by the end.
And that's pretty important. I don't think you can see it, but I'm flashing the link up on the screen. I'll put that in the comments section too afterwards. That's pretty important as far as the support goes, because it's a journey. It's a next leg of a journey for everyone that joins. And it's important to have some support along the way, because you will have some naysayers. That's why I brought that up. Right. You're going to have some of those people. We all have. I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't have someone that's not a naysayer in their life somewhere down the road. And so when those come up, it's like, that's okay. I don't need to talk to you right now. I'm on a different part of my journey in life, and I have this group of friends now that are in this journey with me.
Yep. And that's really what that group is for, is really to, by supporting another person, then it helps me to stay on track too, right? When I'm supporting Susie over here, who is trying to make some changes, and I can say, yay, you go girl. I'm also saying that to myself, and it just is going to create this lovely swirl of support and motivation and inspiration for everyone. So it's going to be great.
That's so cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. And it's going to be it's going to be a great course. It is a great course. And for them, they just have to go to your website. Just go to the website,
and there's a register now button. Click
on the courses button.
Yep. Go through the steps. Yep. And then I will then email all the course login instructions and get you set up on the dashboard so that you're all set to go.
And when is the deadline for that? Is that Friday, or is it?
The deadline?
It starts on Monday, so you got to have some lead time there too.
What day's today? See, I just got back from BTS, so
I know today is Wednesday.
Halfway in Phoenix, right? That heat really got to me. Let's see. Today's Wednesday. Yes, Friday.
Friday.
Midnight. Yeah.
Okay.
Great to be signed up. So,
don't wait till Friday. I'm just going to say right now, for any of those listening, they're like, yeah, that might be something. Just dive in. And how much is it?
It's $127.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why would you debate? $127, and you're going to be on track. You'll by Thanksgiving, Christmas time, you'll see a whole new you, and then you're going to take that right into the next year.
Exactly.
Yeah. Get the plate.
All of the new habits and the new frame of mind is going to help you to get through the holidays without the struggle that it so often is for people.
Yeah.
And you'll start.
And you have a support group there too. So I mean, you're gonna, in any of these, I'm gonna flash the link up there again. In your course, I'm gonna guarantee, because I just know your personality, you're gonna attract all those people that are gonna be supportive of each other. So you're probably going to make some kind of an accountability partner. You're going to make friends along the way. You're going to have that someone to lean on along the way too. So
it'll be a close-knit group, and we'll be engaged every day of those 6 weeks.
And it's not going to be food in a box and all that good stuff. It's going to be actually incorporating new habits that are going to change your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sign up and come join, because it's going to be a good time, life-changing, transformative. Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. So when's your next Spartan?
September 8th. 15 miles and 30 obstacles.
Miles of obstacles.
What was I thinking? Yeah.
15.
Yeah. So the thing is with Spartan, they have a small, medium, and large course. And if you do
Okay.
all three in one calendar year, then you get the coveted trifecta award. So I
So
have
you've
done,
done the small and the medium?
yep, the small and the medium. So this is the large course.
This is
So
the big one.
it will be a beast.
So what is this? How many miles is a small?
45.
5.
Yep. Yep. And the medium is 8-9 miles, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And then the beast is 14 to 15.
15 miles. Wow.
Yeah. So I'm training. I am making my Fitbit very happy.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's
Yep.
gotta be just incredible.
Yep.
Incredible.
So
How do you know what the obstacles are before you
roughly,
go
I
there?
mean, they've got kind of the same core obstacles. And
Okay.
sometimes to get up to 30, they repeat. Like in the medium race that I did in April, they had 2 areas of crawling under barbed wire. One was a little muddier than the other. One was a swamp.
Well, I was gonna say one is probably soupy or something, and
Yeah, so sometimes they do that. Throw in some extra walls. Yeah. Wow. So the obstacle that I'm really nervous about is that in the Beast, they have a memory obstacle. So there's a kiosk that has things to memorize. You stop and you take it all in, try to engage your photographic memory, and I don't know what it is. The states, cities in Canada, I don't know what it is.
okay.
And then you go along and a few miles down the pike, then you have to remember what you saw back there. Yeah. So that one, I
it's
think,
not like you go, you look, and then you have to go do the challenge, and then no, you
Yeah.
can run back and look again and go do. It's miles down.
yeah. So I think I need an age handicap for that.
What
Maybe-
if you can't get past that one? You're just done?
So no. So if there's an obstacle that you cannot do for one reason or another, you can't remember. The price to pass is 30 burpees. So you have
Wow.
to do burpees. Yes. So part of my training now is to get really good at burpees. Just so I know I can.
Wow.
I can do that. Yeah. Yeah. Good times. Good times.
That's why you're doing all the push-ups every day.
The push-ups, yep, for sure. And climbing hills.
And climbing
And
hills.
Jason is my friend, or will be.
I can never understand that. Why is it more for hills than flat road? I can never understand it because it's just you. There's no distance between you and the road, but it's like getting up that hill is something else.
Engaging different muscles. Yep.
Is something else.
Yeah.
Gravity is not your friend during those hills.
No. No. You meet resistance.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, very, very cool. Thank you for coming on.
Well, thanks, Dave. I really appreciate it. It's fun to talk about all this. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. It's going to be a great course. And anybody that wants to sign up for it, I will put the link in the comments right after this so that you can click right on there and go right into it. And other than that, have a great night.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Hang around, though. I want to still talk to you after
All
this.
right,
But
sounds good.
everybody else, have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Sign up for Molly's class.
I'll see you Monday.
Later. Bye.